Yo, what's going on, man? Today is June the 4th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show where I'm live on Twitter. I'm also live on YouTube as well. We only got one NBA game for today. I also been doing a little bit of work in the WNBA, trying to pick and choose my spots, pretty wisely as I'm integrating into trying to handicap the WNBA a little bit more. So I'll talk a little bit about the WNBA for today, but also want to make sure we go over this game. We only got one game, NBA Finals, and go over it in detail. Right? Talk about the side, talk about the total, talk about player props. Adjustments to be made on both sides. But real quick, if you guys are new, I know Sundays are typically a smaller audience. If you guys are new, hit the like button for me. If you guys are also watching this, as you do all the time, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the videos on YouTube if you guys are enjoying the content as well. I do these videos for every single NBA game, pretty much through every single day in the NBA throughout the regular season as well. So hit the like button for me if you guys can. Recap of game number one. I had two plays that I was on. It was Denver minus the 8.5. I gave out both of those numbers to my YouTube members. And both of them cashed. The 8 and the 8.5 did cash. Both of those numbers cash. And I actually should have probably, let's see, I think I put an extra slash in here. 8.5. They both cashed. Also was on Denver team total over 112.5, and that did not cash. Over 113.5. One of those numbers, I think it might have been a 113 number. Either way, it didn't cash. Denver had a couple 20-point leads throughout game one. Miami just couldn't buy a shot. When you think about betting on teams that have 3-point variance, especially coming off of game seven, just not able to make their wide open looks. Some of their 3-point shooters, they did have 3-point shooters who shot the ball well. Gabe Vincent, I think, was 5 for 10 from the 3-point line in game number one, but they just couldn't score a lot. They didn't. So Denver kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. Didn't need to score as many points in this game. They're a solid defensive team, and they can win games, whether they're scoring a bunch of points, a la beating the Lakers 132-126, and they can also win games where they don't score as many, a la the Phoenix Suns when they beat them 97-87. So Denver can play both styles of basketball. So I think that's important to remember as we kind of go along in this series. Game one, what we saw an extremely slow-paced game, from my estimation. Denver did jump out. They scored 59 points at halftime. The halftime number did the first half Denver spread did cover. I think it was a -5.5, -6, and they absolutely mollywopped the Miami Heat. But that's what Denver does, right? They get out to big leads at home. Typically, first quarter, first half, they smack you up pretty bad, and then they kind of coast throughout the rest of the game, third quarter, fourth quarter, kind of let their foot up off the gas, and then make enough plays late to win the game. And that's what they did in game one. They were able to still cover. So now game two, right? And one of the big reasons why I know we had some people on the show told me to take Miami on the money line, and it was absolutely not the right play. You got to understand, situational basketball. You never want to bet on the road team in game one, coming off a 7-game series that's playing a team that's coming off a sweep. That's not smart. That's just not smart at all. So, yeah, not smart at all. So let's talk a little bit about what we saw in game one, and maybe some adjustments that can be made. I'll open it up to everybody else if they want to share their plays, their picks as well. And we'll get out of here. I'm not planning on it being a long show, because low key I really want to watch WNBA today. And I know the game started at 1:30. So let's talk about it. So line in this one opened at 9. We got, let's see. All right. So we had a 9, all 8.5 right now in favor of the Nuggets. So if you're playing the Nuggets, you still gotta, you got a lot, it's not a small price that you land with this Nuggets team. You literally need them to win by double digits yet again, for the most part. Total in this one is 216. It drifted down. It was the team one. Game one, I think, was 219. This total went as low as 214.5. It's all the way back up to 216. And I would agree with the market there. Just from the standpoint, I'll get into the total in a second, but just from the standpoint of all the missed shots and how I think both teams will adjust offensively. I think both teams will try to play, a little bit better defense, but uh, if the Heat don't grow, I don't know what else it is that they're gonna be able to do. And I talked about that in the last, and going into game one, they're just much smaller team. So we'll get into that. But the line right now, 8.5 for the Nuggets in the for the full game, and then the total, like I said, 216, so 216.5. Um, so what I'm looking at in game two, I don't really want to touch the spread. I feel like the Nuggets will win the game. I feel like the Miami Heat could potentially cover this game. But I will say this: if I am touching the spread, I do think that the Nuggets can still win this game by double digits as well. I just don't like it as much because it's not a situational spot. As far as the major rest disadvantage for the Nuggets in this game. So Spoelstra is the master. Of course, he's a mad scientist when it comes to making adjustments, in-game adjustments, after the game. But he also kind of showed, some of his hand in the second half as well. The Nuggets went to the Heat went to the zone with Jokic on the bench to start the fourth quarter because Jokic played the whole third quarter, and they were able to get some stops to kind of get themselves back in the game. The Heat kind of had they had two runs, I think maybe a 10-0 run and like an 8-0 run to kind of put themselves back into the game. And you just see the spacing that they have. I think one of the big adjustments in my estimation, I'm gonna talk about this when I get the player props, is just I think Jimmy has to be a lot more aggressive. He said that he would at the end of the game. Maybe he's hurt. If he is, he's not gonna tell us. So we'll never know the severity of the injury. But I think more so Jimmy just has to be more aggressive. I looked at his points prop just right out the gate. Point prop sitting at 7.5. I think I want to say he averages 9 in the first quarter throughout the entirety of the playoffs. And because this is such a big game and you desperately don't want to go down 0-2 in the finals, that typically does not work well for teams. Not that they can't come back if they do go down 0-2. I just expect a much more aggressive and assertive Jimmy Butler. I think that helps out a lot. When Jimmy is aggressive, it not only puts the pressure on the defense, but you also kind of got to pick your poison with the way Spoelstra uses him in that offense. Do you let Jimmy go 1-on-1, or do you send any kind of help, and then he kicks to his shooters, and they potentially shoot the ball a little bit better than they did from the 3-point line in the last game. So it's a lot, a whole lot to kind of get into when you break down the game. But I'll say this: as far as the Heat, they looked uh pretty bad. But they did get good looks. I think that's the important part, right? In the first half, they shot just 23.5% from the 3-point line, 33% from three in the game. 40% of those shots in game one were from three. So right, they've been kind of living with the three, dying by the three. Shot 49% on wide open threes in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics in the last round, but only 31%, 5 for 16 on their wide open threes in game one. So I think we should see some regression for the Miami Heat. Of course, Max Strus shot the ball, pretty horribly. Duncan Robinson didn't shoot the ball well. Like I said, Gabe Vincent shot the ball pretty well, but wasn't a lot of knockdown 3-point shooters for the Miami Heat. I think if Miami can generate those looks, and I think that they will, I think that we see more points in this game. I think that we see some of those shots start to fall. Sometimes it takes a while. You hear the players kind of talk about it. All the players that have had to play their first two games, in Denver, they talk about the altitude, how it takes a quarter, but then the longer you're there, the practices you get after, in the following days, you kind of get adjusted to the altitude. So I think the Heat come out here, they play, well, they play a little bit better early. I don't think that they miss some of those wide open shots. I also think on the Nugget side, they also didn't shoot the ball well. They shot just 29.6% from the 3-point line, which was actually only the second time in the postseason they've shot below 30% from the 3-point line. MPJ shot only 2 for 11, even though he had a big impact on the defensive end, getting blocks. He had, double-digit rebounds, his double cash. And, he was still able to kind of affect the game with his length and athleticism. Denver, they also only shot 33% on wide open threes compared to 37.7% clip that they usually shoot wide open threes at in the postseason. The NBA defines a wide open shot as a defender not being within 6 feet of the player that's shooting the ball. And then on the opposite side, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of lean towards, towards the Nuggets on the spread, is that Jamal Murray and Joker, they combined for 90% of Denver's 104 points through either scoring or passing. Jamal Murray had 10 assists. Of course, Jokic had 10 assists at halftime. And that's just gonna be something that's difficult to deal with. No team in the NBA has been able to kind of figure them out and solve it at all. So Jamal Murray assists, I think, is another good look today. Because one thing about, and this is pretty interesting, about Denver is when you think about their best two players, they have size mismatch advantages. And there's really nothing you could do about it, right? Jamal Murray, ideally, Miami will probably want to put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray. But if you put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray to slow him down, Gabe Vincent's a little too small. So Jamal Murray's going to be able to, just beat him with physicality, beat him with his strength, get to his spots, kind of rise up over top of him as well. Um, if that's the case and you put Jimmy Butler on him, then you see what happened in the first quarter of game number one when Gabe Vincent got matched up on Aaron Gordon, and we see that Denver wanted to take advantage of that matchup. Clearly, they wanted to take advantage of the matchup, and they did. Aaron Gordon looked like Shaq, the way he was just running to the rim, getting dunks, putting his shoulder, into people. Dude has impeccable footwork. He hit a Euro step back to the left hand that was pretty sweet, off a delayed some transition action. So I think you can't have Jimmy Butler guarding Jamal Murray. You also just don't want him guarding Jamal Murray because you want him to be as fresh as possible on the offensive end. Miami's not going to win this series. They don't have a chance if they think they're going to slow down Denver. If they're going to win this series, in my estimation, it's going to be because they're able to outscore, and that's where the 3-point variance kind of comes in, right? So I say all that to say that that big problem that you have between Jokic and Jamal Murray, the delay, the dribble handoffs, the spacing that Denver always has. They have 3 guys on their team that's shooting above 38 to 39% from the 3-point line when you're not guarding Jamal Murray and Jokic. And I think that's going to continue to be a problem. I do think that the Heat could potentially play a little bit more zone, right? So according to Synergy Sports, the Heat played zone on 19 possessions in game one. The Nuggets scored 18 points. In the fourth quarter, however, Denver scored on just 4 of their 12 possessions with Jokic on the floor. The game was already kind of put out away, but Denver had already kind of put the game away, but Miami did, used it, more to see, I think how effective it could be, because you literally can't guard them one-on-one. Like you can't guard them one-on-one. And once you go to zone, it's going to be a lot of Jokic in the high post, free throw line extended, and he's going to pick your defense apart. So you really just kind of got to pick and choose. I do think that, one of the adjustments that Spo's going to make in this game is we will see more minutes for Highsmith. Highsmith played really, really well in that game. Not only did he have the best field goal percentage, he shot 7 for 10 from the field. And we don't have his numbers, of course. Like, no book has his numbers. I just checked before the show. He had the best field goal percentage, shot 7 for 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3, scored 18 points. But he also had the highest plus minus of any Miami Heat player outside of Kyle Lowry. He was a -3. And to go with 2 steals and a block as well. So I think, if Strus or Duncan are not shooting the ball well, I think that's where the minutes go. Because the way Miami goes, like, as long as they have, Bam is going to play 40 to 45 minutes. I think he has to be out there, because you really can't put, what's my guy name? You can't put I can't think of his name. You can't put my guy out there. They don't have a backup center, put it like that. So you can't, it's going to be pretty difficult to kind of figure that out. And his name will come to me. But so what I'm saying is that Miami can pretty much play any lineup with any of their players on the floor that's being effective. They all are kind of interchangeable in their roles. On the Miami side, I think we also see a little bit more Bam and Jimmy high-low action. If you watch the game, Bam ran the offense. Is one of the reasons why I kind of like his assist to go over the 3.5. I know it was juiced at -125, but I think he played up to 5, because I think we continue to see a lot of that. The offense was kind of running through him. He was at the high post, kind of initiating the offense. Jimmy on the backdoor cuts. We know that if you're Miami, and you don't want to settle for threes, maybe potentially because they're not going in, they're not falling. You want to put a little more pressure on the rim. They shot a NBA record finals game low 2 free throws. So I think you want to put a little bit more pressure on the rim. We know that Denver can be susceptible to giving up points in the paint, a la LeBron James in the Western Conference Finals. So backdoor cuts, off ball screens, a lot of high low action between Jimmy and Bam. I think also Bam had 60 passes. He made 60 passes and had 64 passes received in game number 1, and both of those were Heat highs. The high for the Heat players, which tells me that Spo probably enjoy running the offense through him. It's really very similar to the way Jokic kind of plays as well. And Bam had 5 assists on 8 potential assists. So I do think that we see a little bit more of that, but I also think that's used to free up Jimmy to get him, in some vulnerable situations for the Denver's defense. So that's what I think, right? So let's see. I don't know if I talked about the pace already, and as far as the total goes, I do think that it goes over. Of course, if you're taking it now, you're getting a worse number. Like I said, it was all the way down to 214.5. Specifically, I think in the first half, I think Denver's defense typically picks up in the second half. The Heat's defense typically picks up in the second half as well. So maybe a first half over, even though I didn't play it. What I did play for this game, though, is I played the Denver team total over. I went back to the Denver team total over again, even though it failed me in the last game. I'm not a fan of taking this high spread at all. 8.5 is a pretty big number, even though I think Denver could cover it. You look at Denver, I think they're 3-0 to the under in game number 2s after they've beaten you in game number 1 in the playoffs already, right? And the teams make adjustments, and then Denver kind of makes their adjustments after halftime. Denver's not been the best team in game number 2s at home in the playoffs this season. In round 1 against Minnesota, they were winning by 14 points. But in round 2 against Phoenix, they were actually losing at halftime by 2. And then in round 3 in the Western Conference Finals, they were actually losing by 5 to the Lakers as well. So if Spoelstra does make those adjustments and Miami can knock down a few more shots, it's possible that they could cover the first half spread. I want to say the line is 4.5, 4.5 on most books. So I think Miami first half could be a pretty good look, but it's not anything that I'm willing to play. Like I said, team total over, because I think Miami shoots better and it forces Denver to have to score more points, which is the only thing we needed in the last game to go 2-0. So Denver team total over for me. I got it at a 1. So I played it twice. I played the 111 on one book because I was able to find it on Betway. If you guys have Betway, I would definitely check Betway out. It wasn't a lot of juice. I think it was -110, -115, which is pretty standard. And also -1 over 112.5, which is what the current number is on most books. Is the way I'd be looking in this game. And actually, that's the only play that I played so far. Just the Denver team total over. Like I said, I played it twice. Because I do see more pace. This game was played very, very slow, and I think that has something to do with Miami being tired after the 7-game series with Boston. I think the pace was – so NBA.com says the pace was 93, and then Basketball Reference said it was played at a 90.9. So I don't know. That just tells me that the game was played extremely, extremely slow. So those are the things that I was kind of looking at for the game. As far as player props, and I should probably do another – let me just add another banner so I can talk about the props specifically, make it easier for people to find. So as far as player props, if I'm playing anything in this game, and I'm probably going to get there, I just haven't placed these yet. I like Michael Porter Jr. rebounds, 8.5. It's plus money right now, and the number keeps going up. Probably something that should have been played in the last game as well. Michael Porter Jr. had 13 rebounds in game 1. He had 21 rebound chances, right? And it's not just the numbers for me, right? Like people say, oh, he got it last game. Like, he's gotten it this many games in a row. For me, I think, I think about the game from a logical standpoint. I think that Spoelstra puts Jokic in a lot of pick and rolls again because that's when their offense is most successful. And they take advantage of him being away from the rim because it was successful, like I said. And this means Michael Porter Jr. is the guy that's getting all the rebounds like he did in game 1. He's averaging 9.3 rebounds on 13 rebound chances per game in the last series versus the Lakers. Lakers did a lot of the same thing, trying to get him in that same action with Jokic in the pick and roll. And there's also the possibility of Miami running a little bit more zone since it was slightly effective in the fourth quarter. Zone defense concedes offensive rebounds, if you don't know, for the Denver Nuggets. So you don't have an individual, a box out assignment. So I like Denver. I like Michael Porter Jr. to be able to go over the 8.5 rebounds. It's plus money. I think it's plus 110 on most books right now. Also on that side of the ball, well, opposite side of the ball, Bam. I talked about his assists, minus 125, over 3.5. He had 5 in game 1. I talked about the passes made. He made 60. He received 64 passes. Like I said, that tells me that Spoelstra probably wants to continue to run the offense through him. Bam had 5 assists on 8 potential assists. Miami should shoot better from 3, only making 33% of their threes in game number 1. And I talked about that high-low action with Jimmy Butler as well. I do expect that a lot today. So Jimmy can kind of get in the paint, and those passes will be assisted from Bam as well. So I really like Bam assists. I really like Michael Porter Jr. rebounds. I also think I talked about Jimmy first quarter points. I want to go back to Bam, but I want to click on this, hit on this Jimmy Butler first quarter point. So I said Jimmy Butler, this I think was minus 102. I'm seeing minus 104s right now. Jimmy over 7.5 first quarter points. Like I said, he's averaging 9 in the first quarter, playing all 12 minutes of the game, pretty much in every single playoff game, which is crazy. And if you listen to the post-game interviews, I believe in Jimmy. He says he's going to be a lot more aggressive. He's going to look to attack a lot more. I think he's going to get to the free throw line, a lot more. So I would play Jimmy over his 7.5 first quarter points, just based on all those numbers that I just kind of gave you guys. I think Jimmy points are also in play as well. I think 26.5 is what I'm seeing. And I like Jimmy to be aggressive today. I really like it, Jimmy to be aggressive, kind of hunting matchups like he always do. So I like Jimmy today. What else did I? Oh, Bam. So this is what I want to say about Bam. The offense was initiated through Bam. Bam shot the ball really, really well in the last game, of course. Well, I wouldn't say he shot the ball really well. I would say he shot the ball a lot. And I think that's by design, right? Like when you think about what Bam does for Miami is similar from a scoring perspective of what Anthony Davis does for the Lakers. Of course, Bam's a much better playmaker, but I don't think it was by design, at least from my perspective, of Denver letting Bam shoot. If Bam shoots a 2 and he makes it, you didn't give up a 3, right? So I think that Mike Malone and his coaching staff are employing Jokic to continue to play the same defense, give up the drop, play in the drop coverage, stick to your shooters. Don't let people just, get wide open shots, right? You got to stay attached to Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry when he's in the game, Kevin Love if he sees minutes today, and just let Bam continue to kill you. So I think that's what they want to do, because you can trade the 2-point shot from Bam, if that's what Miami wants to do when they're not shooting threes. So I couldn't talk anybody off Bam, his points, his rebounds, his assists. I will say Bam got his hands full though. He's literally initiating the offense. He's running the offense. He's asked to score. He's playing over 45 minutes, and he's having to slow down Jokic on the other end, and he's giving up 30 pounds in that department when it comes to weight. So that's kind of how I see the game, man. That's kind of how I see the game. I think Jokic assists, something you could go back to, because like I said, I think Miami plays a little bit more zone. And I know I tweeted this, at halftime during game 1, Bam says that they want to take away Jokic assists, and that's cool, right? It's a lot easier said than done. It's really difficult to take away Jokic assists, but I do think if they're going to be effective, you gotta make Joker go out there and give you 50. Right? Because then all the other players don't find a rhythm, right? Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, KCP didn't find a rhythm in game 1, Aaron Gordon, right? So you kind of want to play him one-on-one, but that just makes it really, really difficult for Bam, is all I'll say in that regard, as far as what he's being asked to do. Long shot, plus money pick. Michael Porter Jr., his double-doubles continue to creep down. It is at plus 225 is last time I saw it on Bet Rivers. Dude has 4 double-doubles in the last 5 games, double-digit points in 9 of his last 10 and 10 of the 12 games that he's played in the playoffs. 5 double-digit rebound games in 12 playoff games as well. So I like Michael Porter Jr. to get a double-double at plus money as well. I think that's a really, really solid look. And those are my thoughts on the game. Those are all of my thoughts on the game as far as props. The ones that I'm probably going to play Jimmy first quarter points like I talked about. I'm probably going to play Bam assist like I talked about. I'm probably playing Jokic assist as well. Also probably playing Jokic points because I think he has to be more of a scorer. Miami has no way to stop Jokic. Neither does anybody in the NBA, but not Bam not gonna be able to do it. So those are my thoughts. Hit me, send me a friend request. We on Facebook. Send me a request, man. If you got anything in you on Twitter, I'm gonna go through the YouTube comment section real quick, and then we'll get up out of here. I think we got about 30 minutes for that first WNBA game come on, and I'm trying to be glued to that. What's up to my guy AOD? Justin says, happy Sunday, Chris. Let's get this bread. That's always the game plan. Seymour, appreciate you being here as well. What's up, Malik? My guy. Damian says, hardly any free throws for the Heat in game 1. Yeah, I think it'll be better today. Prolific says he's a little scared. Stay away game for him. What's up to my guy Sid? S. says, morning, everyone. Morning, Chris. Heat win. Nuggets didn't show anything special last game. Heat missed the ocean last game. Okay. Jimmy needed that extra day. Curious the adjustments Heat make on defense to deal with Murray in particular. That's what I'm thinking as well, Sid. S. says, Highsmith will probably start to cover Murray. Murray couldn't handle that defense. I think they'll just get Murray. I think they'll just get Highsmith off of him. Like I think they'll just run the pick and roll and just find another smaller player and another less defensive minded player and he'll still get to his spots. We'll see how it goes though. He was playing a lot better defense in the first quarter, but Spoelstra had done this before, right? Like game 5, Highsmith played really, really well against the Celtics. He didn't even use him in game 6. It was crazy. If you guys remember that from last series, so. Yeah, I see it. I can see it. Zeller, that's who I was thinking about. Cody Zeller. No, don't know why I couldn't think of his name, Marco. I think Cody Zeller. He's literally just a body out there, right? He's just out there to kind of be a body because he's tall to potentially slow down Jokic and give Bam a couple minutes on the bench. That's what Cody Zeller's role is. Casey Kevin says Heat and over, no defense tonight. Javon says Jimmy should go over his points prop 26.5. It's crazy because Jimmy points prop actually was 25.5 when the game first opened. I didn't take it. I probably should have. AC Pick says Grand Rising Nuggets minus 8.5 is what he likes. S. says Jimmy will get his points. The officiating is going to lean in Miami's favor as well. We'll see how that goes. I could see it, but we'll see how it goes. What else? Yep, the over 2 Heat team total over and over 215. 40 ounces of beer. Belly dude says. Keith says he's looking at Gabe Vincent points and assists over 16.5. Brian says, I do think the Heat shot extremely bad for them to lose by what seemed to be a decent margin. If they lose tonight, it won't be by much, in my opinion. Keith says, simple look for me. They don't have anyone to guard them. Appreciate you and the kind words, Minas, I think is how you pronounce that. You want over in Miami? No, I'm not on over in Miami. I'm just on. If you're talking to me, no, I'm on the team total over for the Denver Nuggets. Is what I played. Appreciate you being here as well, Timothy. So send me the request, man. Let me see if I can get some guys up real quick to break this game down and talk about this stuff, man. Let's see. FDB, I'm gonna come to you as well. I'm gonna get you up as well. I see you sent the request. But let's kick it to the guys. Dream, top of the afternoon to you, my brother. What's going on?
What's the vibes, man? How you?
I'm great, Dream. I'm great, bro. I watched the WNBA game last night. I cashed in the WNBA yesterday, and we got NBA today, bro. So I'm great, man. I'm great. How about you? How you doing?
I'm very happy. I didn't lose money in WNBA yesterday, so that's a win for me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna start trying to cap it a little bit. But yeah, man, got a few plays for this game. I just feel like I don't know. This series, I feel like I don't have a feel for it yet. And that's cool. I'm not gonna force no plays, but yeah, I got a few plays and a couple blunt money bets. So, first play, I'm gonna run back the play I gave out last time we was here. KCP and Jamal Murray each to have a steal, minus 120 on DraftKings. Let me see. At this point, it's 13 to 16 playoff games. Each of them have had a steal in it. So it was 12 and 15 before last game. They each did it last game, so now it's 13 to 16. Love it. I don't see why it changes. I'm gonna keep playing it until it doesn't hit a couple times in a row. Next, Gabe Vincent over 3.5 assists. I played this immediately after watching the first game. I didn't even really look at the numbers to see like how many potential assists Gabe Vincent had and all that stuff. Just watching the game, I felt like people missed a lot of shots. Like Bam had points, but he wasn't the most efficient. So a lot of those came off of Gabe Vincent. Pocket passes. I feel like we might get to Gabe Vincent that was covering that 3.5 assists, like 8 straight games for us, where he's one of the primary pick and roll ball handlers with Jimmy Butler, unless Kyle Lowry comes in the game, then he slides over and tends to be in that corner for 3. But even so, once he starts shooting well, defenses tend to close out on him, and he's like the swing passer. So I like his over 3.5 assists. I got him at plus 106 on FanDuel. It's probably something good.
He had 8, Dream. I just looked it up real quick while you was talking. He had 8 potential. He cleared 5, but he had 8 potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I know he had 5, and I was watching the game. I'm like, damn, he only had 5 because I thought he had more. So, yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And the last play I got is Bam 15 points and Denver minus 1.5, and that's minus 125 on DraftKings. Kind of like you was talking about. I think this is gonna be a Bam series one way or the other. If you look at his history, and Brian Windhorst was talking about this on the podcast. If you look at his history against Jokic, he does well. It's just Jokic always outplays him, but he's had triple-double against Jokic. He's had games where he's had 20 and 10 with 4 blocks and 2 steals, like he does well. And to your point, they're going to let Bam shoot all the mid-range shots he can take. They're going to be like, hey, if you want to shoot a bunch of 19-footers, that's not going to beat us. So he will have the opportunity to score. I think he's going to continue to be aggressive. And I expect Bam to actually drive more today. I think he let Jokic off the hook. I think they're going to try. The only chance they got to win is to try and get Jokic in foul trouble, and that's going to be aggressive, driving to the hole, using your speed and agility to get around him. So, with that being said, I love him to get his 15 points, and I just think Denver better. So, I think they're going to win by a few possessions. So, yeah, minus 1.5. That'd be, like I said, minus 125 on DraftKings. A couple blunt money bets. Max Drew 15 points plus 700. He didn't shoot well last game. I don't see why he doesn't get similar looks. Like nothing like they need to adjust to. They're probably gonna make him hurt them before they actually pay him attention. So played that. Played KCP to have 4 threes plus 700 as well. He only shot 2 attempts last game, but I think that'll change. I think a part of the adjustment will be well, I don't know. I think Spoelstra's going to try anything. And if you're in the zone, then I think that's going to lead Jokic to pass to them corners more. And that's where KPJ and KCP at, or MPJ and KCP at. So I love KCP to have, well, I don't love it, but I think it's good value. Plus 700 for 3s. And then a little parlay. Strus to have 2 threes, Strus to have 3 threes, KCP to have 2 threes, Gabe Vincent and Michael Porter Jr. each to have 3 threes. It's plus 1442. I think it's more than that now. But when I got it, it was plus 1442. So that's what I'm on, man. Trying to get a little WNBA action as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll get good at that soon. I appreciate it. Follow me if y'all want more plays and all that. I post all my stuff on my page, and sub to my YouTube channel. Search Blunt Money Best on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Hey, Dream, I got a question for you before you dip out. I love the looks as always and appreciate you sharing them. Dream said it already, but I always like to, make sure I mention it as well. Check Dream out, man. Shoot this dude a follow, subscribe to his page, all that good stuff. Dream, before you dip out, any potential scripts for tonight at all, right? Like, and when I say script, it's like, I think it was Betting Monster who had a script for game number 1. He thought that Miami could cover in the first quarter, which I also agree with. It didn't happen, but I agree, Miami, potentially Russ versus Russ thing. I think the Russ versus Russ thing, we just throw that in the trash when you're thinking about Jokic because he's so efficient offensively. But that's not my question. My question is this, Dream. Do you think do you have a script for tonight that would lead to, if A happens, then I'm betting B? Like, is there anything that kind of comes to your mind as far as live at all?
Well,
What you got?
I'll tell you what, if Miami jump out to a 5 or 7 point lead in the first quarter, then I'll definitely hop on Denver for the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Denver is definitely the better team, and I think that we're gonna get Miami best shot games 3 and 4 at home. But as far as the script, it's kind of square. I think Miami's gonna come out and punch first. I just personally don't think they have enough unless they're playing over their heads. So they're gonna need Strus, they're gonna need Gabe Vincent to contribute as well as an aggressive Jimmy and an aggressive Bam, because the Nuggets, they are just too efficient, man. It's like Jokic get the ball, it's just too much. Y'all just better hope they miss. And a lot of the times it's layups. So Spoelstra, like you say, you're a mad scientist. My game script with Miami comes out, give it everything they got. Maybe that first quarter goes over, and then defensive adjustments at halftime. Maybe Miami covers the first quarter in the first half, and then we get a Golden State Warriors type third quarter. Spoelstra tries to adjust in the fourth quarter, and it ends up not being enough, and maybe Miami covers backdoor. So maybe Miami can cover a trifecta spot, but never really be threatened. Like, I think that Denver it can never be. I don't think Denver will ever truly feel threatened. I think the most they'll get down this game is in the first quarter, first half, and I think it'll be at most 3 possessions.
Okay. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. The numbers that back that up, Jim, I was just looking it up while you was talking. So the Heat off a loss in the playoffs. We always talk about Spoelstra and his adjustments. Off a loss in the playoffs, they're 5-2 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, 6-1 to the under, actually. They're winning the first quarter 26-25. They're winning the second quarter 27-24. So taking 53 to 40, 53 to 48, 49. 53-50. We'll say 53-50 lead at halftime. So they've done well. It's ironic because typically, the Heat they dig themselves in the holes, and then they come back and play well in the second half of the game. But looking at this query specifically, they actually tied in the third quarter, 24-24, and then they win in the fourth quarter, 26-20 as well. So they play their best defense in the second half, and I think that's what we saw specifically in the fourth quarter of the second half. And I think that's what we saw in game number 1 as well. So I like it, Jay. I like it a lot, bro. I'm interested to see what happens. I do think that Heat come out and try really, really hard in this game. But like you said, I think, like I said, I was talking to Ski when he was on the show the other day, and I was telling Ski, like, you can only make so many books if you know how to play spades. If you got a whole bunch of four clubs and you got a 5 of diamond, best of luck to you.
This is a great analogy. That is a great, you could, Spoelstra is the dude that, he the type that got 2 in a possible and he turned it into 5.
Right. Every time.
He do it so much. And even then, even if you get your 5, it's only 13 books and they probably got 7.
That's a fact. He can make that queen of heart walk. Jay, but
you can pimp that thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You pimp the queen and then come back with the ace. Yeah.
Bruh. No, that's a fact.
I know you about guy. You talking that talk.
That's how it goes, Dream. But yeah, a great insight from Dream as always, man. Appreciate Dream for sharing all the looks, man. I like him a lot. Let's go to my guy Frag, the FBD. I want to get your thoughts as well. And then just on the spades reference, if we're talking about spades, Joker is He is the Joker. He's the big Joker, the little Joker, the baby. He's the deuce, and he's probably the ace as well. So, Frag, let's kick it to you, and then FBD. Let me know what you want as well. And anybody else got thoughts? Send me a request, and I'll get a couple other people up as well. What up, Frag?
What's going on, Chris? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself?
Good, man. Appreciate you asking, man. Just been kind of laying back. I mean, it's only one game here and there, so I haven't really been betting. Kind of just, kind of season wrapping up, so just kind of, just been chilling back. But just a couple thoughts. I haven't locked anything in. I mean, it's pretty early, so. But I was looking at, I think Strus, man. I mean, you guys mentioned as far as them kind of, letting Bam score and then kind of, trying to pay attention to the other guys. But, I mean, Strus, I mean, them looks he had were wide open, man. I mean, some of them shots were just, I mean, there was nobody near him. I remember when he had, like, one near the bench, near his own bench, I think, like, middle of the second quarter. I mean, nobody near him. I mean, I think the ref was the closest dude near him, and he just missed it. So, I think if Miami has a chance, I think, Bam and Jimmy have to play well, but I think they need at least one more guy to come through. I don't think it's a two-man game. I mean, it could be, but with, how the Nuggets play at the crib, you need at least 3 to show up. And I think Strus 9.5, and then it's 3 threes, and then maybe 4 threes is, a sneaky look. But definitely the 9.5 points is something I'm leaning towards as far as this game today.
Okay, so some Strus love. It's difficult, and I forgot to get Dream opinion on this too. It's just real difficult, man. And I've been saying this all season. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want the Heat to make it to the finals. No disrespect to them. I just don't like from a betting perspective. It's really difficult to figure out, who's gonna be that guy that shows up, right? Like, do I bet on Caleb Martin to bounce back? Like, can I say that Kyle Lowry is gonna play as well? Kyle Lowry played great. He had an offensive rate. He had a 21% usage rate. Points. Let's see. Points per shot attempt was 157.1, which was the highest of anybody on the floor, outside of Highsmith, of course. And he hit, 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. Gabe Vincent picked it up as well. But you just don't know who's going to be that guy that comes along for the ride. So I like the contrarian looks because nobody's going to want to bet on Strus today. I know Dream mentioned him as well. Nobody's going to want to bet on Strus because of how bad he played in game 1, going 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 9 from 3. But if you're telling me he's going to shoot 10 times and, potentially if he's going to shoot 10 times, he's probably going to clear 10 points, wide majority of the time. So could not talk you off of that look at all, Fred.
Yeah, and then just a couple, like, just last 2 things. The Kyle Lowry is definitely a sneaky look because he played well, but I'm kind of just looking at it as far as, like, kind of like a little human nature type, like, this might be his last hoorah, you know what I mean? So, I mean, back against the wall, he gonna just come out swinging, man. This could be, I mean, he could possibly retire next year. You never know what could happen. So, I mean, push come to shove, Kyle Lowry's, been a dog, especially on the road. I remember him back in Toronto days against the Warriors. I mean, he was the guy showing up on the road in Oracle. So I wouldn't be surprised Kyle Lowry game, man. That's definitely, something I'm probably going to, after this, look into definitely. Because, I mean, he played well. One thing he does is push the pace well and get, easy baskets for Miami, especially for Jimmy. They don't have to work as hard to get, their offense. It's much more fluid with Kyle Lowry. So, I don't think he can play, big minutes, maybe 30, but I mean, you never know. I think Kyle Lowry definitely a sneaky look. Definitely kind of intrigued me with Kyle Lowry
there. Just kind of going through and looking at it. I just don't know, what that's going to look like. I said Duncan Robinson was going to, have a big game, and he will not have a big game, but I thought, he could potentially play well, and he went 1 for 6 and 1 for 5, but he could be that guy too, So we'll see how it goes. FBD, let's kick it to you, man. What's going on? How you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, ready for game 2. Excited. Yesterday, I got Aaron Gordon plus 850 for multiple threes. I think he could have a sneaky game like he did in the Lakers. I feel like they're going to make an emphasis of trying to get Aaron Gordon off those switches into the paint, so they're going to try to kind of move him to the outside. I don't know. I feel like Aaron Gordon's not really respected when it comes to threes, so I just picked it up. I like the over tonight. I think I had it at 215. I think even though we won by 11 points the other day, I think we actually played really bad. So I think you can see a lot more threes tonight. I think you asked Dream, I think my script is, I think if Bam scores more than 30 points, I think the Heat are going to lose.
I like that. Hold on, FBD. Let me get this clear real quick. I just want to make sure. So I click on your profile. You from Florida, but you a Denver fan?
No, I just moved to Florida 2 years ago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was just trying to figure it out. When you said I was just trying to figure it out. Okay. Okay. So you think that Mike Malone continues, like, he doesn't adjust to Bam. He wants Bam to continue to shoot the shots that he shot in game one and take 25 shot attempts. And if that's the case, he scores, but they lose because they're not hitting threes, is what you're saying, potentially, right?
Right, because that's how a lot of people play the Nuggets is, let's turn Jokic into a scorer. Let's not get other people involved. I think the Heat have kind of lived by that this postseason. They keep bringing up 7 undrafted players and all this stuff. Everyone's eating, etc. So I feel like they'll live with Bam shooting, 25, 30 times a game. It's just getting the other people involved. I did just read that Martin is a game time decision because he has the flu or something.
Yeah, he had an illness yesterday. Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. Maybe not this game, but if I could see maybe Kevin Love coming to the starting lineup, maybe for Strus for rebounding and for some Aaron Gordon purposes. But I do think we win tonight. I do think it will be over. I think both teams are going to hit better threes. I think the team, Miami is going to, they only shot 2 free throws, but they were pretty much living by the jump shot. I feel like they're going to be more aggressive when it comes to, like, driving to the paint. I think the final score is probably like 121, 117, something like that.
Okay, so you think Miami keeps it a little bit closer today? Okay. Hey, best of luck, FBD. I like the contrarianism. I don't even know if that's a word, but I like the contrarian looks, right? Like from you take a player that was cold last game, you bet on them in the next game, which is difficult. Most people don't, they can't put their money on somebody that just plays so bad. So I like that from what Dream said about Strus, and Frag kind of backed it up as well. And then FBD is saying now, like, because Aaron Gordon got so much attention in the post that he's gonna have to make the wide open shot. And I would agree. I think I'm not betting on his threes, but I do think that he's an underrated shooter. I want to say he shoot like those guys are all shooting the ball so well, which I think is why people think that Aaron Gordon isn't a great shooter, but he's shooting over 36%, I think, in the playoffs from the 3-point, from three. So if he gets the looks, I definitely think he's gonna knock him down. I'd much rather bet on him at home as well. So I like that look. Nobody's gonna be looking at his threes because he was punishing them in the paint. Spoelstra made the adjustment of putting Jimmy Butler on him, so I like it. FBD. I hope you cash it, bro.
I was gonna say too. I think Porter was like 2 for 11 or 2 for 12.
2 for 11, yeah.
Yeah, definitely won't happen tonight. Strus definitely won't go for 10. I just see a lot more high scoring clinic tonight from both teams. But yeah, I think that's my take for tonight. Bam over 30. I think Denver wins. Thanks, I appreciate what you do every day, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I appreciate you dropping off the insight as well, man. Best of luck to you tonight. Let's keep going. Finesse is in the building. Looks like he's still getting over his Celtics. And Betting Monster, I want to kick it to you as well. What's going on, Finesse? What's up, my guy?
Yeah, it was good, bro.
How you? I'm good. How you?
Good, bro. I'll keep it quick. I'm trying to be light, trying to just enjoy the finals. If I do place money, just be as safe as possible. So I don't normally do this, but I got a 3-leg for some even money.
Ooh, yeah, I heard that. Finesse said he got a 3-legger.
I know. It's
like a tricycle. Go ahead, Finesse.
I'm disappointed in myself, but like I said, I'm trying to just be safe and enjoy the finals. Obviously trying to pay attention to these adjustments. We talk about it all the time. Even game to game, deeper in the playoffs, I think adjustments are going to be made. And great adjustments, right? Especially from a coach like Spo. So just in terms of the game, just thoughts on the game. Miami played very bad. Everybody talked about it already. Missing open shots, missing contested shots. Making Aaron Gordon look like Shaq in the first half. So I think. We could be surprised. I could be surprised, but I think that's about the worst that they can play. Against this Denver team, catching 8.5 again. I can't lean anywhere else but Miami. I do think Denver has some success early, but we've seen it throughout the years from Miami. We've seen it in the Celtics series. Just a bunch of dogs. So, you pair that with the coaches, with the coaching adjustments, and these guys kind of playing more to their norm, right? Their what do you call it? Like their averages, instead of shooting like we said, Strus 0 for 9, 0 for 10. I think these guys play more to their averages, and I think Miami fights in the second half to cover the 8.5. But like I said, just to be safe, that's also part of my 3 legs. First leg is Jamal Murray over 4.5 assists. That one is pretty simple for me. He ends on 5 a lot, but I think his ceiling in this series, assist-wise, is much, much higher than 5 assists. Just in terms of that 4.5 number, 9 out of his last 10, 18 out of his last 20 overall, including the playoffs. At home, it's 19 out of his last 20. That one's just really simple. The actions that they run, the game is going to be run by them 2 boys, Murray and Joker. We cashed. I actually didn't give it out like a moron, but I played Joker over 23.5 rebounds and assists. I think I talked about it on the show, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And he barely cashed that. And I go look at it again. It's the same number, but his triple-double was boosted on FanDuel and I think another book. So that worries me. I think he gets close to the triple-double. I think he can still cover the 23.5. But that really worries me, especially in the playoffs. These boosts have been backbreakers. So even the easy ones. So 2 things that makes me want to stay away from the rebounds and assists, and that makes me think the ball is going to be even more in Joker in Murray's hands. So
I got a follow-up question for you, Finesse, when you get done with that. Yeah, but keep going.
No, go ahead. What's up?
So if you're reluctant to play the rebounds and assists at 23.5, I kind of talked about this a little bit before you got here. Which number would you play more? Right. So the rebounds probably 13.5, still 12.5, I think. And then the assists are 10.5, I think, right? So which number would you lean more towards? And we don't talk about taking unders on Jokic, but if you had to take one of those out, right? If somebody told you, Finesse, I want to take his rebounds or assists, which one would you feel more comfortable with taking?
I think it's for sure the rebounds. I think if he fails to get a triple double, I think it's in the assist category. I think the 10.5 is juiced. I see people playing it. Kind of drinking the juice and playing the 10.5. And again, I can't blame you, right? You're not taking an under on his assist, but I would lean more towards the rebounds. I think there's less variables with that. Obviously, his teammates got to knock down shots. They got to make open shots, even if it's just cuts to the basket. Off of Joker passes, they still got to convert those. So there's maybe a game where Miami kind of turns up the defense. I mean, they play pretty good defense, right? 103 points they let up. I think Miami even more turns up the defense, kind of finds those adjustments, and maybe makes it harder for his teammates to score. So definitely will lead rebounds. He's always going to be a dog in the paint, offensive rebound threat every single time. And he just, we see it. I mean, there's not really much to be said. That man hunts rebounds every single possession, defensively and offensively. So definitely be the boards for me, not even a question.
Okay. Cool. All right. Was you finished, Finesse? I know I cut you off.
No, you're good. Just the other 2 legs. So yeah, Jamal 5+ assists. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The next leg is MPJ 2+3. He's also pretty self-explanatory. He took, I think, 10 or 11. Still covered the 2+, but extremely inefficient. But this guy, we talk about it all the time. He's not afraid. He's gonna take. He's gonna take them, whether they're contested, whether they're open, off of the Denver offensive action. He's gonna take them. So despite his struggles last game, like I said, still covered his number. Covered 8 of his last 10. At home, 8 of his last 10. At home, 17 of his last 20. So, like I said, he's going to take them. All we can really cap is the opportunity, and there's always opportunity and value to be had for MPJ. So, not really much to ramble about there. And then just to reduce the juice, Miami plus 18.5. I already kind of discussed that. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's 18.5 in the finals game. There's always a risk for a blowout, but it's 18.5. I think that's, like I said, it's just a juice reducer. So Murray 5+, MPJ 2+, Miami plus 18.5. That's plus 100 on DK. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna take that. Just try to be safe, sit back, enjoy the game. Leans would be Miami covering the 8.5. I think we get a different. Obviously, the series is shifting to Miami, but I think we get a much different line. I'd be surprised if it opens around the same amount in Miami. So it's going to be exciting. I see a lot of people overreacting and kind of counting out Miami, betting Denver 4-0, 4-1. I think we see some fight from Miami. I think we haven't by a long shot seen the best of them executing versus Denver team. So that's all I got. Little 3-leg even money lean to Denver full game. But I appreciate you, bro.
Lean to Miami full game. Okay, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Vanessa. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's go to Betting Monster. Betting Monster, what's going on, my guy? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, I know last time when I was in your space, I was very high on Miami in that first quarter. We didn't get there, but one good thing I take away from that first quarter is we was hanging with them to like the last 5-minute mark, and we just could not. We had the shots, we just couldn't put the ball in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I do like about that second half was Miami actually outscored the Nuggets in that second half. And I think when they brought Kyle, I know a lot of people talk about what, Kyle Lowry, he done fell off. But one thing I think that Kyle Lowry did do that I kind of liked was he actually pushed the ball. And then that second half, they outscored the Nuggets. And a good thing that I take away from that was Miami got to see the ball going in the basket. I think we picked right up where we left off at. I'm going right back to this play again today. I know it burned me the other night, but I'm coming right back. I'm on Miami Heat first quarter plus the 2.5. I'm on Miami Heat first quarter, money line plus 172. And then another play that I'm on tonight, a prop play that I like is Michael Porter Jr. Points plus rebounds over 23.5 minus 130. I think he got a advantage over his matchup in this. I know the last game he put up, I think he scored, 14, 15 points. I know he had 13 rebounds. I see some similar consistent like that today. He's getting more minutes, and also he's putting the ball in the basket. So I'm playing his points plus rebound over 23.5 minus 130. Another play that I'm on today, I'm going right back to the window on. I was on that in game one. We got there with that prop play with Bam. I'm going right back with Bam again. Points, they did raise it up a little bit, but I'm comfortable with it at 18.5. The only thing is, I think in this series, I think Bam got an advantage over the Joker for his quickness. Joker more slow-footed. So I see Bam being able to put the ball in the basket more easier against somebody more slow-footed. So I think Bam will have a real good. I think he actually going to be good in all these matchups against the Nuggets. I don't think the Nuggets is too concerned about taking him away because they know as long as he's scoring and the rest of them don't get off, the Heat can't beat him because he's not going to beat him by himself. So I like Bam points over again, 18.5.
Like it. Couldn't talk you off of that at all, Betty Moss. The only thing that concerns me a little bit, I think it's too early in the series for it to be too big of a concern. The only thing that concerns me as the series goes on is that Bam he just becomes so tired of having to do. He becomes tired because he has to do pretty much everything with him orchestrating the offense, creating the shots for everybody else. But I don't think that that's going to be a factor in game 2. So I like the looks. I like all the looks that you mentioned. But so here's the other thing, Betty Monster. Would you consider Miami first half at all, or you just gonna stick to that first quarter?
Well, when I go back and look since the postseason started, Denver done went in, I believe, every game up at half. I don't think they went in no games down at the half. I don't believe now. I could be wrong. Maybe the Lakers might have had them.
They did. Yeah, Lakers in game 2 had them by 5. And actually Phoenix had them by 2 as well in game 2 of that series as well.
Okay. Well, I just like, me personally, I just like this first quarter. I don't want to switch off of it and go to the first half because I was on the first quarter game 1 and I didn't get there, and I don't like to switch it like that. I want to go right back where I was comfortable at, so I'm coming right back because, like I said, the way they close, seeing the ball go in the basket, I think they pick right back up right there. They know Miami Heat know they have to win a game today. This is they series is on the line right here.
Right. So they start early.
If they lose, they they can pack it up. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna get swept, but they will not beat Denver 4 out of the next 5 games. It just won't happen. That's just I mean, we all know that. So that's the reason why I'm on that first quarter. I haven't really too much looked into the first half, but I'm very strong in this first quarter play again. It burned me game 1. I don't believe it'll burn me again today. I believe Miami Heat gonna come out with some adjustments. I believe another thing too that killed Miami, I think, in that first quarter in game 1 was down in the paint. It was wide open.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Gordon looked like Shaq, right?
He killed them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he killed them. Everything he wanted was, I mean, he was just basically just right there and give me the ball and just lay it up. And Eric Spoelstra is too good of a coach. He will make some adjustments for that. So I like that. And for the full game, I don't know. I'm not too much on the full game. I can see the Nuggets winning again and covering, or I can see Miami Heat. Really, actually, the Nuggets got lucky to cover that last game. It came down to the guy coming off the bench. He took it to the hole. He just went off his knee. If he'd have put that ball in the basket, they wouldn't have covered. They won, I believe, by 8, I believe it would have been. So Miami's not going to quit. We know that, and we've seen that. So
Okay. Some analysis from Betty Monster. Best of luck, Betty Monster. Hope you cash tonight, man.
My man, thank you.
Yes, sir. Caleb, let's kick it to you, and then Frag, we'll come back to you. And I gotta get off here. I gotta go watch this WBA game, bro. I gotta go watch this joint. Go ahead, Caleb. What's up?
How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, my guy. How about yourself?
Doing great, dude. Last time I was on here, I gave out like Heat team total under full game, and then someone talked me in the first half. That shit was sweat free, but today I'd like the Nuggets again, unfortunately. So like when I first look at this game, like you automatically think, yeah, like Heat have to bounce back here. Huge spread, they're gonna cover. But thinking about this game and the line, last game the spread was at 8, and that was coming off of a 7-game series, having to travel into Denver. But now they have rest. They're able to game plan against this team, and the spread opened at a 9-point spread when they were almost able to cover last game. I just think like this is just an unfortunate matchup for the Heat.
They called it unfortunate. Keep going, Caleb. That's just a funny word.
A lot of people love the Heat here. 76% of the money is on the Heat to cover 8.5, and I just think a lot of people are taking into account the last series against the Celtics, against the Bucks. Like I just feel like that's where a lot of people are getting like. That's why the people want the Heat. That's why I don't like it at all. I just think they're outmatched in every single position. If they don't shoot, like last game you saw, they're not hitting their shots from 3, and that's their downfall. Jimmy got locked up. So I feel like the Nuggets really cover this number tonight, unfortunately, because I want to see the Heat win. I like the Heat, but
yeah, from a betting perspective, you're like, nah. And I'm with you, Caleb. I said that at the beginning of the show. I think the Nuggets could cover too. I'm not playing it. I only played the team total over, but I think the Nuggets could cover this game too, right? I know a lot of people say, Spoelstra figures it out, Heat bounce back. Like I get it. But also the Nuggets didn't play their best basketball either, right? Like they shot 29% from the field. They got Jokic and they don't lose at home. So like, just taking all those things into consideration. I don't look at the money. I could care less what the money is. I just care about the eye test. I think that the line is appropriate, which is why I'm not playing it. But if the Nuggets win this game by 12, it wouldn't surprise me. If the Heat lose this game by 7, it wouldn't surprise me, which is why, and that's enough to make me say, you know what, I'm gonna kind of stay off.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like once again, it's just like this fat spread is just like turns your head because they can cover because it's so fat, and so was the game. It's just like, dude,
yeah,
like how can you even play this game? But I also like your reads too. Like I like the full game over, and I like the Nuggets team total over as well.
Yeah, a lot of full game over. I think that the other thing, Caleb, is with the Heat, right? You got to think about the variance, right? The Heat they keep getting these big numbers because it's really about their 3-point variance, right? Like they shot historically great from the 3-point line throughout the entirety of the Eastern Conference playoffs, right? This team was shooting 46% from the 3-point line. That's crazy. Nobody shoots the ball that well, and then it kind of caught up with them when they got in altitude. But now, do they shoot as well? Like again, right? And then, like I said, like of course, everybody goes back to Denver didn't play their best game, and I mean Miami didn't play their best game in the last game, but Denver didn't either. Denver has another notch they can take it to as well, I think. So I would, I would agree with you. I didn't mention any crazy trends that I pulled up, but I'll mention this one real quick. Home favorites in game number 2s that are coming off a game that went under, in which they covered in the first game since 2016. Those teams are 19-6 straight up, 15-9-1 against the spread. They're 62.5%. They're winning those games by 10 points. So yeah, if the game goes under, if game number 1 goes under and the home favorite covers, and I mean that's pretty much it, right? It just says that the team that's a home team that played defense in the last game, they typically play well in the second game as well. So we'll see how it goes, but I think the spread for me is big enough to just kind of make me stay off, and I'll probably just try to catch something live, Kevin.
Yeah, no, that's a good view too. I just feel like my basketball brain tells me like Nuggets. I mean, the Heat have 0% chance.
Right.
It's just like everything like considered, like they made a good run. They're a good team, great team all around. It's just this matchup against the Nuggets was like the worst possible outcome for them.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Appreciate you, Kev. Appreciate you for sure. Back to Frag. You too, man. Have a good day. What's up, Fred?
Yeah, bro. You had mentioned the Jimmy Butler first quarter points.
7.5.
I've been dabbling in those first to 10 points. The players, they just added that during the playoffs. They never had that during the regular season. So I'm looking at it, and I looked at this. I've looked at pretty much every game, like all the playoff games. I always dabble in it, just look what the odds are and stuff like that. So I'm looking. This probably could mean absolutely nothing. But for some reason, they got Jimmy done tucked in all the way at the bottom. Like, he's at the bottom of the list, and he's only plus 320. I've never seen, like, it probably means nothing, but usually the order, the odds are, they're in order. For some reason, he's at the bottom of the list with Bruce Brown, and Bruce Brown's like plus 5,000. So it can mean absolutely nothing, or Jimmy scores 10 points, the first player, in the game. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. No, I appreciate you sharing that.
It could be nothing, but I just thought it was weird. I just wanted to bring it up because you had mentioned the Jimmy first quarter points. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that. For sure. Let me get Go Crazy up real quick, just because he's been waiting for a minute. We're gonna get off here. See if I can get him connected. Hey, Go Crazy, can you hear me? Maybe not. Nah, you're not even connected no more. Okay, well, at least we tried. So full analysis on the game, man. I talked about it. We've been on here for like an hour, a little over an hour. And I'll just, I'll say this, even though I don't have a play on the spread. It's kind of what I talked about. Miami will play better, I think. But Denver can also play better. Miami actually shot the 3-point ball better than Denver did in game 1 and still lost by double digits. And Michael Porter Jr. shot 2 for 11, even though Caleb Martin, didn't do anything in that game, and he's sick today, so that's a big loss. They could potentially have if he doesn't play, or even if he does plays and he's not 100%. We got to remember this was the third best player on the team in the Eastern Conference Finals last series, right? Boston would have killed to not have Caleb Martin be a part of those last 3 games. So you got to make sure you take all of those things into consideration as well. I think Denver could potentially cover this game. I'm not playing it. Maybe I'll catch him live, send it out to the YouTube membership. I did play aces, though. That's nothing new, not a secret at all. I play aces first quarter, first half. You look at the Fever, they've been really, really bad. They just got their first win out of their last 28 games dating back to last season. Aces are the best first quarter team in the NBA, so I sprinkle first quarter minus 4.5. I sprinkle first half minus 8.5 as well. Aces are the best first quarter, first half team in the WNBA. I do expect them to get out to a big lead today, but as all dominant teams do, they typically let their foot off the gas in the second half. They don't play as well in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and that's the way I kind of see this game going for the Aces and the Fever tonight. A lot of so player. I see Aiden on player asking about player props. So player props for me, I didn't play anything yet, but if I'm playing any player props, the ones that I mentioned earlier were the Michael Porter Jr. rebounds over 8.5. It should still be plus money. Bam over 3.5 assists. I still think that he's going to facilitate the offense. A lot of high-low action with him and Jimmy Butler. And then Jokic, I would go back to his assists before I go to his rebounds. I think that Spoelstra is going to continue to pull Jokic away from the glass, right? I think it's going to be difficult for him to get the rebounds because he's going to be the guy that's going to be guarding Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Kyle Lowry in the pick and roll. And if that's the case, Michael Porter Jr. will get the rebounds because he'll be the biggest guy on the backside, and Aaron Gordon will be defending Jimmy Butler, who could potentially be taking a lot of the shots. So that's how I kind of see the game going. Long shot would be Michael Porter Jr. double-double. I talked about this earlier. He has 4 double-doubles in his last 5 games, double-digit points in 9 of the last 10. And 10 of the 12 games in the playoffs. He has 5 double-digit rebounds in the playoffs. And Miami's going to shoot a lot of three-pointers. And a lot of three-pointers don't mean you're going to make all of them. So should be a lot of rebound opportunities for a guy like Michael Porter Jr. today. Double-double is plus 225 on Bet Rivers. And then total. I would go only play the over. I think both of these teams shoot the ball better. I think Miami shoots a lot more free throws because Jimmy's a lot more aggressive. Miami should get some aggression from the three-point line, even though Denver's a good three-point shooting team. The problem with the total, though, and this is what I didn't talk about, the problem with playing the over is that both of these teams play so well they do the little things well. And when I say little things, I mean like they both get back on defense. This Denver team, it likes to get out and run in transition. Miami is really great at getting back in transition, right? This is not the Lakers where you just go beat them up and down the court because Anthony Davis then fell on the floor and LeBron crying to the referees, right? So you got a 5-1-3. Nah, this is like Miami's getting back on defense. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to take charges, right? And the same thing with Denver. Denver also allows the fewest, one of the teams that allow the fewest fast break points. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. But I still would only play the total to go over. I know it's going up from 214.5 up to 216. I still take the over, which is why I played. I said all that to say Denver team total over. Definitely shop around. There should be some 111s out there. I got it at Betway here in Virginia, but 111.5, 112.5 is what I would play because I think Miami puts pressure on Denver to be able to score, and I think Denver continues to be able to score. Their starting 5 had a offensive rating of like 123, I think. So their bench got outplayed, but their starting 5 played really, really well, and I see that continuing today. So best of luck today to everybody. Appreciate everybody for coming through, dropping plays, giving out looks, and just kind of talking the game out with me. Appreciate everybody in the comment section, all the members. Let's cash today, and let's keep it going, man. Enjoy the game, everybody. Best of luck to you guys.